How's it going, YouTube? We are back with another recap of Week 3 this time for the NFL. Before we get started, I have to ask you guys to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Carolina versus Houston. Carolina's defense looks to be pretty stout so far. They haven't played too many good teams. They played the Saints and they beat the Saints, but it looks like the Saints are still trying to figure out their offensive situation after a blow-up in Week 1 against Green Bay. They've struggled a little bit lately. So Carolina's defense has been pretty nice. I believe it's ranked number 1 in the league right now. So their defense has been hot. It stays hot. Houston without Tyrod Taylor, Davis Mills takes over. They had one pretty good drive, and that was pretty much it for them. But I think we're looking at a pretty good team. And once again, Sam Darnold wasn't the problem for the Jets. Who knows what the problem really is over there? It's probably up in ownership. But Carolina gets another win. They're 3-0. We'll see where their season goes because I believe right now they're going to be in first place because Tampa Bay lost. Washington, 21 takes a blowout loss to Buffalo, 41-20 or 43-21. Their offense is struggling so bad as Washington. They don't look good. I don't know if it's because of Fitzpatrick being gone. I don't know if it's Heineke. Are they not giving the ball to their playmakers enough? I don't know what the deal is. Their defense has been downright bad. Not just against Buffalo, but they looked really bad against the Giants. I think maybe we really overrated their defense, and I think that they may have gotten lucky last season to get into the playoffs in a division that was really, really weak with the disappearance of Dak Prescott because of his ankle injury. But now that Dak's back, he's playing great. Dallas looks good. Their only loss is to Tampa Bay in a game that they could have won. If Zerline hits a couple of more of his field goals instead of missing 2, they win that game. Tampa's 1-2 and Dallas is 3-0, and we're in a totally different place here. But the way the NFL is the way the NFL is sometimes, and Washington has not been good. I think the Eagles are better than Washington. We'll see what the case is for them and where they end up later on in the year. Cleveland handed a blowout loss to Chicago, 26-6. Justin Fields looked so bad. He looked so bad. Coming into the draft, I had him as my one of my quarterbacks that I didn't really like coming into the draft. I didn't think that he was going to go top 5. I didn't think he should go top 5. When he fell to the Bears, it had Mitch Trubisky written all over it. And I know they jumped up for Mitch, but I never really saw it in him. A lot of people did see it. He is a dual threat quarterback, and I don't think a lot of it is his fault. A lot of it is the O-line being as bad as it was and Myles Garrett just being a beast, as well as Matt Nagy being a horrible head coach, not utilizing Field to his strengths, but throwing him into an offense that's supposed to be centered around Andy Dalton instead of dynamically changing the approach, adding more bootlegs, more play action, getting Fields out of the pocket more to avoid those sacks from guys like Myles Garrett, and allow him to be a playmaker instead of him trying to do the same things that Andy Dalton does. But I'm not the head coach for the Bears. Allen Robinson has had a really, really bad start. Montgomery was decent, but they've just been so bad. I don't even know what the problem is with them. There are so many problems, and I think it starts with the head coach, the O-line, and then we can blame Fields. But I didn't look too good. I wasn't too hyped up about him to begin with. My point has been a little bit reinforced, but to his credit, Cleveland's defense is pretty staunch, so we'll give him a pass this time around. If he gets to start next week against a softer team, then we'll have a better idea, I guess. Baltimore and Detroit, a game that is way too close. Baltimore comes out on top 19-17. Something's wrong with Baltimore. They had a really good offensive game against the Raiders and a really good offensive game against the Chiefs, but a really poor offensive game that relied on a 66-yard record-breaking field goal for the win for Justin Tucker, but they also got bailed out by a delay of game call that the refs missed. So Baltimore should have lost this game. Detroit should have beat them, and Baltimore would be 1-2 right now instead of 2-1. So that puts the AFC North into a different perspective as well, because The Steelers haven't looked good. The Bengals have looked pretty good. So it's just, that's a weird division as well. We just don't know what's going on yet. It's just so early in the year and everything's developing into such a different fashion than it did last year. I mean, the Chiefs are in last place in the AFC West as the Chargers beat them 30-24. This is a different year. This is a different team. KC sometimes has the tendency to look bored. Like, they look flat at times. I don't know if it's just all the success that they've had in the past and they just kind of get complacent with it, but the Chargers have looked real good. I believe they play the Raiders coming up in a battle for I guess if Denver has an undefeated record as well. I was going to say battle for first place, but Denver's also undefeated, so no, it's not. But the Chargers look good. Mike Williams may be the number one receiver there now. Keenan Allen, no disrespect to Keenan Allen, he's been good, but Mike Williams has been great, so they might have a new number one over there, and if Keenan Allen's your number two, you're in really good shape. I skipped Indianapolis and Tennessee, so we'll go back there. Tennessee comes out on top 25-16 in a pretty decent game for Ryan Tannehill, but he's still, he turned the ball over a couple times. He did get a few touchdowns. I think he finished with 3, but I don't like the amount of turnovers right there. 2 interceptions, you can't go interchanging interceptions with touchdowns. It's just not a recipe for success. Luckily, the Tennessee defense did buckle down a little bit better and hold a pretty poor offense in Indianapolis, to be fair, but it's a start compared to what they were doing. Prior to this, they had gotten absolutely annihilated by Arizona, and those kind of games are not going to lead you to victory by any means. But Derrick Henry seems to have woken up. A.J. Brown got hurt, unfortunately, and so did Julio Jones, so we'll see where they are coming into this week. If not, they're going to have to lean a lot on Henry and Tannehill's, ability to throw a ball to an open receiver. Hopefully, the minors, as in the minor receivers on their team, can find a way to get open. I know that Tannehill threw some touchdowns to those guys, but they're playing a much easier matchup, I believe. So we'll see what happens with that. Much easier defense. We'll see what happens with that. But that's another division that's up in the air for sure. New Orleans and New England. New Orleans bounces back after a horrible, horrible loss to Carolina. They beat New England 28-13. But their offense, it's just they still don't look good yet. I still don't trust Jameis Winston, but I still don't think Taysom Hill's the answer. I don't know what direction they go in. Jameis Winston looked like he made some throws that were questionable and were lucky enough to get caught. But Kamara gets on the board with a touchdown. He bounces back a little bit. I think that they really should just lean on him a lot. I think that he is dynamic enough to help them score to a pretty significant margin, but you do need help from your receivers at times, and I just don't know if they have the weapons on the receiving core to do it, or the quarterback as well. So I don't know where to go with New Orleans either. It's such a weird start to the year for real. Atlanta beats the Giants 17-14. For some reason, the Giants were favorites in this game, and I don't know why. They beat Washington, I get it, but I just think that they aren't that good. They really aren't that good. And maybe just the way they played Washington made them look better than they are. Saquon had a really good game, his best since coming back. I don't know if he's fully Saquon Barkley yet, but he does look really, really good. And he looked probably the healthiest he's looked for a while now. But Atlanta's offense still isn't great. I don't know how they managed to win this game. They just got lucky enough to play the Giants. They're not a good team. We're pretty much getting close to the tank here for them as well. We'll see how that goes. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Cincinnati pulls the upset, and Pittsburgh is now in trouble. They're finding themselves in a position where they might have the 4th best quarterback in their division. Joe Burrow had a pretty good game. He always plays pretty decent against the Steelers, which is weird in his short career so far. And the Steelers have had good defenses, but he's played well. Jamar Chase, all that offseason stuff is out of the way. He's just a beast. I really like Jamar Chase. He was my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year before the year started, even with all the stuff about him not being able to catch the football. But he's played incredible. Joe Burrow's been good. Tyler Boyd has been good. But, no T. Higgins. That didn't seem to bother them too much. We'll see. We'll see what happens because Pittsburgh might need to tell Ben to take a hike and retire. Arizona and Jacksonville. A game that for a second looked like it could be on upset watch. Jacksonville played a decent game. Trevor Lawrence is struggling mightily to begin his career, but I just don't think he has the weapons around him. I think he'll be a really good quarterback, but they need to help him out, get him some blocking, man. It's just horrible to watch. Probably the offensive play of the year, or maybe special teams play of the year, whatever you want to call it, but 109-yard field goal return for a touchdown. Agnew with an absolute insane run. Great blocking. He just pretty much didn't really have to do anything other than run. Great return. Historical plays. I believe that's only the third touchdown of all time of 109 yards, so incredible to watch. The Jets got shut out by Denver, and Zach Wilson continues to look horrible. These rookie quarterbacks have not looked great, the only one being Mac Jones, who's looked all right. It's just been a rough year for the rookies, and understandable. I mean, they've been thrown into positions where they don't have anything. I thought the Jets were going to have a little more weapons for them, for Zach Wilson, but they're having so much trouble keeping him safe, keeping him protected. Guys are coming in unblocked. They're double-teaming one guy, and someone comes in unblocked. It's just not a good situation. He's having to run out of the pocket constantly. Sam Darnold wasn't the problem. Sam Darnold was not the problem. And they get shut out by Denver. Denver's 3-0, tied for first place with the Raiders, but you do with what they will compared to the Raiders' schedule. The Raiders, 3-0 against really tough competition. The Broncos are 3-0 with the Giants, the Jets, and Jacksonville. So do with that what you may. Miami falls short in overtime of the Raiders, 31-28 on a game-winning field goal by Daniel Carlson. Nice 55-yarder or something of that sort. As I said, they're undefeated. They're the first team, I believe, to ever start season 3-0 while facing a team that had 10 wins in the season prior. So they've beaten staunch competition. I think it's time to consider the Raiders a top 10 team at least. 3-0, one of the last 3-0 teams. There's still a few, but a run-in with Denver, if the Raiders get past the Chargers, is pretty much, and obviously they're going to play each other twice, but if the Raiders can get past the Chargers and go 4-0, then a team that just beat the Chiefs, and all of a sudden the Raiders are a legit team. I still keep a watch out because their offense is just so potent. Tampa falls short to the Rams, 34-24. I kind of figured this would happen. I mean, Tampa was never going to go undefeated. It's just so difficult to do, and the Rams have a tough defense. But Matthew Stafford, man, oh my goodness, you get him on a good team, and all of a sudden this guy's an MVP, man. It's been nuts for him. I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford. He really deserves to work on a good team that could take him to the playoffs, because he has not had a lot of playoff experience, if any, I think. I'm not too sure about that. You guys will have to comment down below and let me know. Minnesota beats Seattle, and Minnesota finally gets into the win column. I feel like there's been some games they deserve to win, like the one against Arizona. They do win this one. Don't know about them. Don't know about Minnesota. I think they're a good team. We just have to wait for them to put it together. They put it together in this game, put up 30 points, and only gave up 17. So you're putting up 30 points and giving up less than 20. You're putting yourself in a good position to win games. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is so clutch, baby. 30-28 against San Francisco. I mean, what can you say? Jimmy G, he put him in a position to win. That defense was tough, but Devante Adams. Devante Adams was too good. Aaron Rodgers had 37 seconds, just launched the ball to Devante twice, got them in field goal range. Mason Crosby, clutch as ever, hits the game winner. Looked like it was like butter. They sliced through that defense like butter. Made it look too easy. Cannot give quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers that much time. And finally, the Monday Night Football game, Dallas blew out Philly 41-21. Dallas is a legit team. I don't know why the spread was so close on that game. I really like Dallas' team. I do have them going pretty far this season. I think that they're a tough team to be reckoned with, even with their one loss. Their one loss was to Tampa Bay, so their offense is absolutely dominant. Their defense has been much better this year than they have been in the past, so we'll see what the future holds for Dallas. I consider them to be one of the top teams in the NFL right now. And that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, comment your guys' favorite team down below and who's going to win the Super Bowl, and I will see you guys next time.